Corbin Carroll is out. You need replacements. Let's discuss on Fantasy Baseball Today Express. Welcome into FBT Express on Tuesday, June 24th. I am Frank Stampfl, joined by Chris Towers, and unfortunately, Corbin Carroll has been diagnosed with a chip fracture in his left wrist. It's unclear how long he'll be out, but Aaron Judge had a similar injury back in 2018. He missed 49 days. The average time missed is 60 days. The median is 50. So I think he's probably going to be out until at least August.
And that's for all wrist fractures, by the way, not this specific type. I couldn't find a lot of information specifically about this one, but all wrist fractures for hitters miss 50 to 60 days on average.
And it is a tough loss. Corbin Carroll was the 19th overall player in Roto, the 12th best hitter in head-to-head points league. So we cannot replace him one for one, but we will try our best to find some waiver wire replacements. And some names in shallower leagues. Alec Burleson is up to 78%. Cam Smith at 72%. Josh Lowe at 71%. Addison Barger at 65%. Joe Adell at 62%. Jurickson Profar at 59%. And he's due back on July 2nd. So some interesting names here, Chris. Who would you say your top three are from that group?
Before I get to that, I do want to just say with Corbin Carroll, part of the problem is even when he comes back, is he going to be the same guy? That's always a big concern when you're talking about a wrist injury. So, you know, that is something to also think about. As for
if the D-backs fall out of it too, they might not have a rush to bring him in.
I mean, they've already lost Corbin Carroll. There was Eugenio Suarez and Josh Naylor both left Monday's games with injuries as well. Doesn't sound like they're as serious, although we don't know for sure on Naylor, I guess. So that's concerning. But yeah, as for the Carroll replacements, you mentioned Burleson, Cam Smith, Addison Barger, Joe Adell, and Jurickson Profar. I'll say this, if you're in a weekly lineup block league, so you can't do anything about losing Corbin Carroll until Sunday anyway, I think I'd just go ahead and make Jurickson Profar my top priority on waivers. He is 59% rostered, will not be back until next Wednesday, July 2nd at the earliest. If the Braves have a rainout, that would push it back a day, but he's currently projected to come back on July 2nd from his suspension. And he was a top 20 outfielder last season in both head-to-head points and Roto. If he is at all what he was last year, which is a huge question mark. Last year was a big outlier for his career. Obviously, he has the PED suspension. How will that affect him? How will just the energy and all that affect him? These are unknowable things. But if he's 90% of what he was last season, hitting second for the Braves behind Ronald Acuna and ahead of Matt Olson, it's a really good spot to be in. So I think Jurickson Profar is a potential difference maker among this crew. I'll also say Addison Barger. What we've seen from him over the last month and a half or so has been really, really impressive. He's putting up just absolutely massive quality of contact metrics, like 94, 95 mile per hour average exit velocities, not striking out too much, still only playing like 55 to 60% of the time against lefties. I think it started 4 out of 7 in the month of June for Addison Barger. So not quite every day. But he's been so good that I've got to put him at 2. And then I think I would give Cam Smith the edge. He had 2 big games last week, 7 hits over those 2 games, 2 homers. Then he went 2 for 16. So didn't quite break out the way we were hoping for coming out of that one, but I still think the upside is super high. He's incredibly young, still developing. There's a lot of upside there. And the thing about losing a guy like Corbin Carroll is you're going to take a hit either way. I actually prefer chasing upside with a higher variance player because that's the only chance you're going to have of getting anywhere close to replacing Corbin Carroll, you know?
Yeah, makes sense. Let's take a quick break. And when we return, I have a few other replacements here. We'll talk about those right after this.
When you need your sports news all the time,
we've got breaking news to bring to you.
CBS Sports HQ gives you a snapshot of all the sports that matter to you. When you need your sports in a snap, find it on CBS Sports HQ, streaming free anywhere you are.
Welcome back in to FBT Express. Again, the big news, Corbin Carroll is out with a chip fracture in his left wrist. He could be out as far as August. So a big injury here, a big loss in fantasy. Two other names in the outfield that are returning soon. The Rays are expected to recall Chandler Simpson from AAA on Tuesday. We know the deal here. It's great batting average, great speed, not much else from Chandler Simpson, but a very exciting player. And Austin Hayes will begin a rehab assignment at AA on Tuesday, could return this weekend. And in the games he's played this season with the Reds, he has looked awesome. So, Chris, any interest in those two, Chandler Simpson and Austin Hayes?
A lot of interest in both. They've been really useful fantasy players when healthy this season, or when active, I guess. Simpson, it was like 19 steals in 35 games. He is 10th in the majors in stolen bases, despite not starting the season on the roster and getting sent back down. It is like, I don't know if another player in baseball has higher stolen base potential than Chandler Simpson. And it's not just because of his speed, although he might be the fastest player in baseball, but he's a super efficient base runner. He's very aggressive, and he's going to get on base. He hit 285 in his first stint in the majors. The actual problem for Chandler Simpson is, one, he's a better real life hitter than fantasy hitter than real life hitter. There's very little power. He doesn't walk a ton. He's also just a bad defensive player. And that was why he got sent down in the first place for the most part. So hopefully he can hold his own in left field, become an everyday player. I think there's a lot of upside there. Austin Hayes, it's just a perfect fit in Cincinnati. He wasn't healthy last year. When he's been on the field this season, he's been outstanding. I think he's been a must-start player in basically any format when healthy. I'll also throw Tyler O'Neill out there. He's 45% rostered, so I would put him below those two, but he's in the same range in terms of roster rate. He's coming back from his own shoulder injury, and he hit 31 home runs in 110 games last year or something. So clearly difference-making upside there for Tyler O'Neill.
I think it, like we say for many things, it comes down to what you need, right? Yeah. And if you drafted Carroll for speed and he really hasn't given you much of that, it's only 10 steals this season. Obviously, he did so many other great things. But if it's speed that you need, obviously Chandler Simpson goes to the top of that list. If it's power that you need, I think Addison Barger makes sense. If you're just looking for maybe the best all-around player, I think that'll probably be either Profar or Austin Hayes. And
I agree.
I do like those two names in a head-to-head points league as well. Some names in deeper 5 outfielder leagues. Again, if you lost Corbin Carroll, Mickey Moniak, Tyler Freeman, Wenzel Perez, Luke Raley, and Dominic Canzone. They both homered for the Mariners here on Monday night, and the underlying data looks pretty good. And Jake McCarthy set to be recalled to take Corbin Carroll's place in the D-backs lineup. He had 12 steals in the minors this season, 25 steals last year, so another speed play. But Chris, do any of these deep league names stand out to you in some of those 15-teamers?
For the most part, not really, but I do think Perez has showed some interesting stuff. The quality contact metrics are actually surprisingly very good for him so far this season when he's been healthy. So that's a name to keep in mind, Wenzel Perez. I'm going to throw Parker Meadows. He's 33% rostered, so a little higher than this group, but he's widely available. He's been very bad since coming back from the IL, but the underlying numbers are much better. It's like a 350 xWOBA. That would be a very good mark for a guy with his athleticism. So I would love to see him get going, and I think it's going to happen. And then I'll just throw a name out there to stash for some upside. Chase DeLauder of the Cleveland Guardians. He is one of the most talented hitting prospects in baseball. He's also played I think it's 70 games in 3 seasons since getting drafted. He missed the start of this season with a hernia injury that required surgery, but he has played 19 games at AAA this season, and he's just crushed it. It's like 286 average, OPS almost 900. I kind of think the Guardians just need to call him up while he's healthy because he hasn't been able to stay healthy in the past. Why not get those games at the major league level, especially when they have the second lowest WOBA in baseball from their right fielders? So might as well call Chase DeLauder up and see what he can do. I think that could be coming for a team that desperately needs some juice in their lineup.
That is a very sneaky one, too. And I will add with DeLauder, if anyone out there plays in a deeper head-to-head points league or a deeper OBP format, he has more walks than strikeouts in the minors, 22 walks to 16 strikeouts. His average exit velocity, 92.2 miles per hour. So, very sneaky name there with Chase DeLauder. For more extensive fantasy baseball coverage, listen to our full-length podcast, Fantasy Baseball Today, on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or anywhere else podcasts are found. Thanks for listening to Fantasy Baseball Today Express, and we will be back again on Thursday. Bye-bye.